across India and the world at this hour. So let's begin today's edition. A four-storied residential building collapsed in South Mumbai's Dongri area this morning. 4 people died, 7 others have been injured. Nearly 40 to 50 are trapped still under the debris. Fire Brigade, Mumbai Police and civic officials are at the site. Scores of locals joined in the rescue effort, forming a human chain to help to remove the debris brick by brick and pick up slabs of concrete to locate those buried. A young child was rescued and handed over to workers. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says building was about 100 years old and rescue and relief operation is top focus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweets saying collapse of a building in Mumbai's Dongri is anguishing. My condolences to families of those who lost their lives. I hope the injured recover soon. Maharashtra government, NDRF and local authorities working on rescue operations and assisting those in need. BJP leader Suresh Prabhu expresses grief over loss of lives in Mumbai tragedy. BJP's parliamentary party meeting held today at Parliament Library building. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other senior leaders attend the meet. While addressing media after the meeting, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Prahlad Joshi says PM Modi has requested all lawmakers to ensure 100% attendance in House proceedings. Prime Minister urges MPs to work for eradication of diseases like TB and leprosy. PM Modi has set eradicate tuberculosis by 2025 goal for MPs. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi also says Working Party President JP Nadda stressed all party members must undertake membership drive proactively. Parliamentary Affairs Minister also says conduct of Karnataka Speaker has been unfortunate. He added that Speaker K.R. Ramesh Kumar is indulging in dilly-dallying tactics. Rajya Sabha witnesses repeated adjournments following uproar by opposition seeking to include Tamil as language to write postal examinations. Acceding to demand by Tamil parties led by AIADMK, government on Tuesday decides to cancel exams for appointment of postmen held on July 14 to hold it in all local languages including Tamil. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad tells Rajya Sabha that examination will now be held in all local languages as per the notification including in Tamil. Replying to a discussion on demands for grant for road transport and highways ministry in the Lok Sabha, Nitin Gadkari says more people are killed in road accidents than due to terror attacks or natural calamities. Supreme Court completes hearing on pleas of Karnataka rebel MLAs who sought SC direction to Assembly Speaker to accept their resignations. Court will announce its order tomorrow. Appearing for the MLA Senior Counsel, Mukul Rohatgi tells the court that the Speaker kept their resignation pending just to disqualify them and there was nothing wrong in resigning to escape disqualification. Rebel MLAs tell court that the state government has been reduced to minority and Speaker by not accepting their resignations has attempted coercing them to vote for the government in trust vote. Meanwhile, Karnataka Assembly Speaker K.R. Ramesh Kumar says in the Supreme Court that he would decide on both disqualification and resignation of rebel MLAs by Wednesday and requested it to modify its earlier order directing him to maintain status quo on the matter. Meanwhile, hectic parleys underway in Karnataka to win back support of rebel MLAs. Congress JDS is leaving no stone unturned to solve the crisis. In Assam, flood situation continues to remain critical. 28 of 33 districts in state hit by current spell of floods, affecting over 26 lakh people. Brahmaputra flowing above the danger mark at many places in Guwahati. Several areas continue to be submerged in floodwaters and rescue teams putting all efforts in to take people to safer places. In Kaziranga National Park, large areas continue to be inundated. More than 70% of wildlife has been affected. Authorities taking measures to deal with the situation. In Golaghat, NDRF teams rescue stranded people, moving them to safer places. Floodwaters have submerged vast areas in Golaghat. Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat takes aerial survey of the flooded areas. Minister, accompanied by senior officers, took stock of the situation. Other northeastern states have also been affected due to floods. Floods have caused large-scale damage in many parts of Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. In Agartala, people have been shifted to government buildings. Women and children are being provided required relief material. In Lungle in Mizoram, public life has been severely hit due to floods as residential areas have been inundated, affecting mobility. In Bihar, also millions affected due to floods in 12 districts of the state. In Katihar, people shifted to highland areas. Rail and road communication has also been badly hit by floods. Several teams of NDRF conducting rescue and relief operations in the flood-affected areas. Delhi Police Special Cell nabs wanted Jaish-e-Mohammed militant carrying bounty of 2 lakh rupees on his head from Srinagar. Rebel Congress MLA Roshan Beg, who was detained on Monday evening by a special investigation team probing multi-crore IMA's Ponzi scheme, moved the Karnataka High Court on Tuesday, challenging the SIT's move. National Investigation Agency arrests of 14 for allegedly attempting to set up terror outfit Asnarullah in Tamil Nadu. All 14 were handed over to India by Saudi Arabia recently. In major boost to Make in India initiative in defence and aerospace sector, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh accords approval to allow private sector industry to compete with ordnance factories and defence public sector units for prestigious Raksha Mantri Awards for Excellence. A day after quitting Samajwadi Party and also from Rajya Sabha, Neeraj Shekhar, son of former Prime Minister Chandra Shekhar, joins BJP in presence of its General Secretaries Bhupendra Yadav and Anil Jain. After joining the BJP today, Neeraj Shekhar praises Prime Minister Modi's leadership and his passion to work for the country. In a major setback to the BMC, Bombay High Court strikes down CRZ clearance for the project, says environmental clearance required. Sky enthusiasts across the country can witness a 3-hour-long partial lunar eclipse late tonight when the Earth will move between the Sun and the Moon. Eclipse will begin around 1:31 a.m. on Wednesday. The greatest partial eclipse, when the Moon will look the darkest, will be around 3 a.m. Celestial phenomenon will be visible entirely from all parts of the country, besides parts of South America, Europe, Africa, Asia and Australia. The Moon will remain partially eclipsed till 4:29 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hague Bay's International Court of Justice scheduled to deliver a verdict on July 17th in Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Jadhav, retired Indian naval officer, sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on charges of espionage and terrorism in April 2017. Benchmark indices closed strong, with the Sensex rising 234.33 points to 39,131.04. Nifty climbed 72.70 points to 11,661.05 as all sectoral indices. Nifty mid-cap index gains 0.7%, while Nifty small-cap index ends flat. Gold prices in India edge higher to be back near record highs on MCX. August gold futures were up 0.07% to 34,908 after rising to 34,928 at the session's high. Silver prices rose 0.51% to 38,821 per kg on Tuesday. On the currency front, Indian rupee depreciated 17 paise to 68.72 intraday against the US dollar as crude oil prices continue to rise. Global oil benchmark Brent crude futures trading 0.36% higher at 66.72 US dollars per barrel. Reserve Bank of India imposes penalty of 7 crore rupees on State Bank of India for non-compliance of directions. Regulatory lapses relate to bad loans classification, fraud risk management and reporting of frauds. FICCI jointly with the Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals and Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmer Welfare, Government of India organizes 8th Agrochemicals Conference 2019, Role of Agrochemicals in Sustainable Farming. Conference elaborated about agri-input players owing to government support to farmers in the form of direct income transfers and fertilizer subsidies. Retail sales of passenger vehicles saw 4.6% decline in June. Automobile dealers body FADA says total sales in June 2019 stood at 2,24,755 units, down from last year's 2,35,539 units. Air India to launch Delhi-Toronto direct flight on the occasion of World Tourism Day on September 27 despite facing threat of privatization. Airline is also planning to launch a direct flight to Nairobi in Kenya in October due to immense tourism potential in that area. Jio partners with GSMA's Connected Women initiative to bridge gender gap in digital adoption and digital literacy among women in India. They will work towards empowering more women to increase access to life-enhancing digital services. GSMA is an industry body that represents mobile network operators worldwide. Europe's largest budget airline, Ryanair, slashes its growth plans for next summer, blaming delays in deliveries of Boeing's grounded 737 MAX jet, lifting shares of rival airlines which had feared a surge in new planes would hit ticket prices. Ryanair is one of Boeing's biggest customers for Boeing 737 MAX plane. Wage growth in the UK rises to 3.6% in more than a decade in 3 months to May 2019. Office for National Statistics has said record high 32.75 million people were in employment up to the end of May, while 1.29 million were out of work, the lowest since at least 1992. A Texas company has aimed to sell short recreational flights in a one-seater electric aircraft it has designed that can be controlled by a joystick without requiring a pilot's license. It is one of the startups vying with aerospace giants Boeing Company and Airbus to develop electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Germany's Ursula von der Leyen faces a make-or-break vote in her quest to be European Commission's first female leader. Ursula, who earlier this week resigned as German Defense Minister, regardless of the EU lawmakers' decision, needs 374 votes for an absolute majority. The woman nominated to head the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, pledges to launch a Green Deal for Europe to curb climate change. Leyen has set out her agenda in the European Parliament ahead of a key vote on her candidacy. European signatories to the Iran nuclear deal do not see Tehran's breaches of the landmark accord as significant. The EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini has said more diplomacy is preferable to ease the crisis. EU also invites Iran to reverse its steps and go back to full compliance with the agreement. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has condemned the European Union response to Iran's breaches of nuclear limitations. Prime Minister Netanyahu has said it recalls the failed diplomacy with Nazi Germany ahead of World War II. European Union's take on Iran's nuclear deal breaches has also invited reaction from Britain's Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt. Hunt says there was a small window of time to save the Iran nuclear deal. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin opposes Facebook's planned Libra cryptocurrency, warns about its potential criminal use. Steven has said it could be used by money launderers and terrorist financiers. Said it was a national security issue. Amid U.S.-China trade war tensions, ASEAN has overtaken the United States to become China's second biggest trading partner. China's General Administration of Customs has said China's top trading partner is the European Union. Japanese Trade Minister Hiroshige Seiku says it is regrettable that the South Korean government had made a mistaken explanation of last week's meeting between the two sides over Japan's export controls. The feud between the two deepened over the weekend when they contested accounts of the meeting. New government in Thailand will officially take power after being sworn in today. Thailand Prime Minister, new civilian cabinet, drawn from a 19-party coalition government, holds a slim majority. It is expected to present its policies to Parliament next week. Move comes after Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha formally resigned as the head of the military government yesterday. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena has asserted that international drug dealers were behind the Easter Sunday attacks as he continued with his anti-drug drive. Sirisena said drug barons carried out the attack to discredit him and discourage his anti-narcotics drive. First case of Ebola in Congo's eastern city of Goma is a potential game changer in the scale of the outbreak, the World Health Organization has said. According to Chief Tedros Adhanom, WHO had decided to reconvene the WHO's emergency committee to decide if the outbreak now constitutes an international health emergency. United Nations releases report on hunger, saying more than 821 million people suffered from hunger worldwide in 2018. Report names state of food security and nutrition in the world has suggested it is the third year in a row that the number has risen. Report released by UN says HIV-related deaths fell to around 770,000 in 2018, some 33% lower than in 2010. UN has, however, warned that global efforts to eradicate the disease were stalling as funding dries up. Pakistan opens up airspace for all commercial airlines. Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority issues notices to airmen stating that Pakistan airspace is open for all type of civil traffic on published ATS or air traffic service routes with immediate effect. Dutch appeals judges are expected to render their verdict in the case between Russia and Ukraine over a priceless collection of gold artifacts from Crimea on display in the Netherlands when the territory was annexed by Moscow in 2014. Dozens of climate change activists hold banners saying the air that we breathe disrupts London Concrete, the British capital's biggest supplier of ready-mix concrete, which supplies a major road tunnel project under the River Thames. Activists block entrance to the site in East London in an attempt to halt the expansion of the works. In Chile, demonstrators in the city of Osorno take to the streets to protest over being left without drinking water for 4 days following a fuel spill. On July 11th, around 1,000 liters of fuel spilled into the river Rahu, which contaminated the city's town supply, affecting nearly 200,000 people. A river in northern Bangladesh breached its embankment and swept away homes in Bogra as incessant monsoon rains pounded many parts of South Asia over the weekend. At least 11 pilgrims, including 7 children, were killed and several were injured as their vehicle set off a landmine in southern Afghanistan. The blast occurred in the Khakriz district of Kandahar province. No group has claimed responsibility for the blast as yet. An undersea earthquake with a magnitude of 6.1 strikes south of Indonesia's Bali, causing minor damage and prompting residents and visitors on the tourist island to briefly flee buildings. There were no reports of casualties and no tsunami warning was issued. A wildfire blazes through hundreds of hectares of a UNESCO heritage site in Quintana Roo, affecting 25 kilometers of vegetation and the Sian Khan Reserve. According to experts, the fire burning and damaging parts of the fragile reserve is estimated to take at least 200 years to recover. ICC announces team of the tournament for World Cup 2019 to honor players who performed well. Kane Williamson named captain of the squad, Rohit Sharma leading run scorer, and Jasprit Bumrah, who picked 18 wickets in the tournament, were the only Indians who featured in the team. New Zealand coach Gary Stead says declaring joint winner was an option to be considered after New Zealand lost the World Cup final to England on the basis of boundary count in the match. As per ODI rankings released by ICC, Indian skipper Virat Kohli and pacer Jasprit Bumrah retained top spot in ODI batting and bowling rankings respectively. Kohli tops list with 886. Jasprit Bumrah has 809 points under his belt. Simona Halep returns into top 5 of updated Women's Tennis Association rankings after winning her maiden Wimbledon title. Halep achieves rank 4 with 5,933 points on the table, led by Australia's Ashley Barty with 6,605 points. After defeating Swiss tennis veteran Roger Federer in the longest Wimbledon final, Novak Djokovic shows respect towards his opponent, saying major respect to Roger for a titan fight. India bags 2 gold and 1 silver in women's 10-meter air rifle event at International Shooting Sport Federation Junior World Cup in Germany. Ella Venil Balarivan claims top honours in individual section, while Mehuli Ghosh settles for silver. India also clinched a gold in team section by creating a junior world record. International Shooting Sport Federation approves India's application to host ISSF World Cup stages in New Delhi from March 15 to 26 next year. The last edition of the ISSF World Cup was held in Munich in Germany. Indian blind cricket team travelling for the first time to Jamaica to play a limited overs series. World champions India will depart from Bangalore on July 18 to play the first ODI on July 20th. Australian fast bowler Peter Siddle makes his selection case stronger in Test squad for upcoming Ashes beginning August 1st. 34-year-old claims 5-wicket haul for Essex in county championship match against Warwickshire. Ace Indian shuttler PV Sindhu spearheads the Indian campaign at Indonesia Open badminton tournament beginning in Jakarta. Sindhu will play her opening game against Japan's Aya Ohori tomorrow. Saina Nehwal is not taking part in the tournament. Hockey India announces 14 women players for Defenders training camp under supervision of 2-time World Cup winner Fergus Kavanagh. Camp will be conducted at the Sports Authority of India Centre in Bangalore from July 15 to 21st. Ghana, Guyana and Pakistan pull out of 21st Commonwealth Table Tennis Championships beginning in Cuttack on Wednesday, bringing the number of participating teams down to 12. In the 5th match of the ongoing Intercontinental Cup, DPR Korea defeat Tajikistan 1-0. After DPR Korea's win, India hope to make it to finals. Dashed as Tajikistan and DPR Korea finished group stage with 6 points each. Barcelona's latest signing, French World Cup winner Antoine Griezmann, joins Catalan Giants in club's first training session of the season. This adds further firepower to Barca strike force, already containing Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. Hrithik Roshan star of Super 30 declared tax-free by Bihar government. In the state, film performed well during its opening weekend and crossed 50 crore mark at domestic box office. After receiving a tremendous response for the teaser of Mission Mangal, actor Akshay Kumar shares another poster from the film on social media. Also asks fans to mark their calendars for the trailer, set to be out on July 18th. Actress Huma Qureshi leaves for Los Angeles to start working on American filmmaker Zack Snyder's Netflix original film Army of the Dead. Leela Starr asserts that she believes in growing and essaying different characters outside her comfort zone. Actor Tahar Rahim is all set to play French serial killer Charles Sobrage in BBC drama series The Serpent, co-produced by Netflix. Based on true story, Serpent is an 8-part series written by Richard Warlow. Damien Chazelle, director who helmed La La Land, ready with another feature film, Babylon, and actor Emma Stone is in talks to hop aboard. Brad Pitt being eyed to star in Hollywood period drama film Babylon, which is going to be a drama film with an amalgamation of real and fictional characters. Actor-rapper Luckett Stanfield, all set to star in an adaptation of American-Nigerian chef Kwame Onwuachi's memoir titled Notes from a Young Black Chef. Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach team up to co-write upcoming Warner Brothers film Barbie with Margot Robbie essaying role of the iconic doll. Popular HBO show Game of Thrones final season left many fans so disappointed that they created a petition seeking its remake. Creator George R.R. Martin, however, said fans' reactions won't influence book ending. sequel of last year's critically acclaimed horror film A Quiet Place has finally gone on the floors. Directed by John Krasinski, upcoming sequel slated for release on March 20th, 2020. Netflix removes controversial graphic scene depicting youth suicide from its popular young adult drama 13 Reasons Why, following advice from medical experts. Writer-director Baz Luhrmann casts Austin Butler as Elvis Presley in his upcoming biopic. Movie will document Presley's rise to fame as well as complicated relationship with his manager, and is set to go on floors in Australia in 2020. As the United States races to put humans back on the moon for the first time in nearly 50 years, a NASA-funded lab in Colorado aims to put robots on moon before humans go there. And that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Latest news and updates around the clock. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube.